We've all seen it in the news. Someone defends themselves or their loved ones only to find themselves fighting a legal battle that can cost everything. Mortgage payments, retirement savings, even their kids' college funds, gone, just to prove they did nothing wrong. That's why Firearms Legal Protection, the official sponsor of Every Citizen Armed, exists. For as little as 33 cents a day, FLP gives you unlimited legal defense for criminal and civil cases. No caps, no hidden fees, no surprise bills. If you have to defend yourself, FLP will handle the legal battle so you can focus on what matters: your family, your future, your freedom. We insure our homes, cars, and health. Why wouldn't we protect ourselves legally when it matters most? Go to firearmslegal.com, choose your plan, and use promo code ECA at checkout for exclusive pricing. No setup fee and a locked-in lifetime rate. Protect yourself today, and Firearms Legal Protection will have your back when it matters most.
Every Citizen Armed ensures that every American patriot is prepped with knowledge, perspective, and firepower.
He counted on America to be passive. He counted wrong.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Welcome to the next episode of Every Citizen Armed. Today we're joined by Jeff Flores. I think this is your second visit, so pretty excited to have you back on.
You bet. And thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast and give you a county update and all the happenings here locally.
Yeah, you got a lot going on. That's a lot of folks don't realize what really happens around. And I having you back on really shows how even our local government is affected by what happens in the national level.
Absolutely. It's totally connected. What happens there and in Sacramento, as we saw this week, has ramifications for Kern County.
Yeah, very much so. And that's why when I called you, I really wanted you to come back, because what I've seen is a few major things happening. And one of them I wanted to start with was the oil. You guys are really kind of stepping up on this. Yes. And that's a battle for you, isn't it?
It has been a long campaign, 13 years in the making. I've only been there for 3, but our local oil EIR ordinance to unleash the power and potential of Kern County Oil, we have been at this as a board and my predecessors for 13 years. We have not given up. Despite the lawsuits, despite the environmental justice groups, we have stayed the course, and it's paying dividends. I'm feeling very bullish on Kern County Oil, and I can walk you through what we did last month, and I can walk you through to some very positive steps that are happening in August in Sacramento.
Yeah, I want to get into those, because a lot of folks that if they're not from our area, even around California, they don't realize how much oil is in this county. And I had Stan Ellis on here a while back, and we talked about that. And Kern County has about the 4th largest oil reserve of any county in the nation per Stan. And that's a lot of damn oil when you really look at it. We could be self-sufficient here. So, yeah, tell me, the state has really went after us, trying to shut it down as much as they can. We know that's not popular. And that's totally a misnomer, really. If they really thought about it, it would make a lot of sense. So what have you done? What has the board done? And how has that worked out for us?
Sure. And agree with all your comments. You stated it very perfectly, succinctly, and historically. The state has been hammering us for over a decade, and they've even put out these mandates for the future that they want a total transition from traditional oil. And we don't buy that paradigm whatsoever. And so last month, our Board of Supervisors did another crack at our local EIR, which is a local permitting of local oil. And we satisfied some of the court's concerns, which were 3.
Oh, what does EIR stand for?
Environmental Impact Report.
Okay.
And so there were 3 things that the court found that we were insufficient on: air quality, ag easements, and water. And so in June of this year, we took those on head on. We improved it. We've made more environmental safeguards, and so now we passed it unanimously. And
Wow, that's a big deal.
yeah, and it would unleash thousands of permits a year, and we're ready to go. We're about a year and a half out, but in the interim, with all the issues in the Middle East, with the importing, with the state supply issues, with refineries shutting down, with the price, California oil is in jeopardy just with the physics of the pipeline. We need so much flow to go through. With refining capacity down, we're dangerously low. If we keep going any lower, we'll have total collapse. We won't be able to move oil. And I think even those that are opposed to oil, they have gotten the wake-up call. They understand the price escalation. It would break the system. So even they finally have come to the realization that we have a place in a role here with local production, that we can help the state, help prices. We don't need to rely on dirty oil from the Middle East.
Well, I think what a lot of folks don't understand, when we're going to use oil, it doesn't matter. You cannot run your country without it. You take a look around. It doesn't matter. Okay, fine. Go buy an electric car. There's a lot of oil used to make that car.
Absolutely.
And I wish people really would understand that. They wouldn't have their phones. They wouldn't have their tennis shoes. Wouldn't have their clothes. Exactly. So many things. So when you're doing this, and you brought up the refinery issue there a little bit, how do we get more refineries? That's one of the bigger factors.
Well, we need the fuel, and the fuel comes from our deposits here. And back to your earlier comment about the state's attack on oil, historically, for the Kern County General Fund, oil used to make up 65% of the assessment valuation. We're down to 9%.
Wow.
9%. And so we believe that with the actions we've taken, that we can turn that around. Like you said, demand's not going anywhere. We've not reduced demand. We still import a lot of oil. So we have a role to play. And not only do we have the success of our local ordinance that we passed, even Sacramento, even the governor, even the state legislature, there's talk about running a bill in mid-August when the legislature reconvenes to codify what Kern County did. And get this, instead of attacking us, they're going to protect what we did, say that our environmental protections cannot be touched, that they're adequate, they're sufficient, and they're going to give us a license for the next 10 years of certainty to let us drill. I mean, I'm shocked.
Yeah, that is pretty surprising. Now I'm curious.
I'll take it. I'll definitely take it.
How now we've had some oil companies pull out and they've left. I mean, look what Chevron's doing, and I don't know if they're completely pulled out yet, but they've shrunk down a lot of their operation here. Is that going to slow that down?
I think it will. I think it will temper it. I think CRC is ready to go. One of the saddest things that I get as a county supervisor is when I see the WARN notices, which is a legal obligation to tell government that they're laying off the local workforce, what positions, how many, and why. Those are the saddest emails that I get. Those are families that get hit. Hopefully that will stem that. Chevron has moved some operations to Houston, but what I'm hearing now is based on this, people are ready to drill, people are ready to produce. It will take some time for some of the other people that help the industry, the contractors, to gear back up. But we're looking at this is according to our planning director, Lorelei Oviatt in the county of Kern, who's done a tremendous job. She's saying that the work that is in the queue that can be done immediately if this passes is up to $60 million a year just to the Kern County General Fund, not to mention to restaurants, not to mention to families, car dealerships, what have you. There'll be a multiplier effect. But that's how big this is.
Well, and what it would do for the employment in Kern County alone, employment in California. I know we tend to run a little higher unemployment at times than the rest of the state. This gives folks a great opportunity. Yeah, I know one of the things that I often have heard over the years is, and in fact, we were just talking about it the other day, our education level here in Kern County is considered one of the lowest as far as, higher education in the nation. But when you look at that, it's West Texas and Kern County have a lot of similarities with oil, but also the folks aren't going to college because they could go out and get these really good jobs. And you don't have to have a college degree. When oil is flowing, you could go out there and get those $125,000 a year jobs.
Yes.
Pretty regularly.
Yes.
So what would that do with our economy and stuff? Like you said, the restaurants.
Oh, it would help. It would be amazing because a lot of folks that don't have a college education, they don't have that level of educational attainment. This does. They can be making $85,000 to $120,000 in the oil patch, and these are good jobs, good paying jobs. They can support families. They can support our local economy, and we all know someone that works in oil. It's all affected, interconnected. This really gives people here in town, if they want to go the career pathway, not college pathway, that careers and trades matter, whether you're working in electrical, welding, carpentry, all of that is connected back to oil, and it really will lift our workforce up, irrespective of educational level. And even like local high school district, they have career technical education. They're doing tracks in these fields in oil, in ag, in mechanics. All of that will be boosted if this is successful. And I'm feeling very bullish on this. I think we're going to get there.
Well, that's a big factor. And not every kid needs to go to college. And certainly not every kid, they're not going to go to college. When you look at the graduation rates as it is, how low they can be and how many kids are really qualified, this is going to open up a ton of opportunity for them.
It will. And even people that are released from jails or prison or getting a second chance, they're employed in the oil patch and they do a great job and they've got a great story. Even for some of the demographics that have struggled throughout the years, they've come and testified to CalGEM. They've testified before our Board of Supervisors. They are making the pitch, let us work, let us have a chance. And I think that chance is very near on the horizon. I can't wait to see what happens in August. And even if it doesn't happen in August, at least we have a local ordinance ready to go too. So we have two tracks.
Can the state override your local ordinance?
No, the court can if people sue again. But we feel confident on our local ordinance on the legal side in court, and we also feel confident on the state side this time because the state is actually talking about supporting our ordinance and securing it for 10 years. Who would have thought, Chuck? Who would have thought?
Well, I think our governor has higher aspirations.
That might be.
And it has a little bit to do with he's realized he needs to appeal to a lot more people.
Yeah, and that could be a part of it also. That political calculation. You campaign in South Carolina and Texas. You better show some assistance to local oil.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So
National Energy.
Yeah. Well, and I think if people really realized when we're shipping that oil from the overseas, we're going to use oil. We're going to produce it a heck of a lot cleaner.
Absolutely.
And when they're having those ships come over here, those are not clean ships.
Not clean ships.
Yeah.
And Assemblyman Stan Ellis, no one's smarter in the entire state legislature on this subject than Stan Ellis. He knows the bunker fuel, the ports. He understands the shipping. He understands the product. He made the most compelling argument I've ever heard in the state chambers talking about let us do this. And I'm sure he's done it on your show. And we need him up there. And I'm so excited that he's our assemblyman.
That was a big deal for him to go. He doesn't need to be in politics. If people know who he is, he has no need to be in politics.
No need. And I commend him for putting in the work because he doesn't need it.
Yeah.
He doesn't need it.
Yeah,
he could be in Cabo right now fishing.
Exactly. It just showed that the people around here care so much about what really happens, and he's definitely one of them.
And Shannon, for that matter, too. She's very successful, Shannon Grove, and she doesn't, quite frankly, need it either. But both of them have stepped up. They're serving our county. They're representing our values, and we're all working towards the same goal.
And I think what would happen is as we go through this, like we talked about, it'll help with unemployment. That will lead to solving some of these other problems that we're running into, whether it be, the budget. There you go, $60 million a year going to the budget. That would help a lot with our homelessness, our people out of work. It's going to put them to work, but it could help us get these folks off the streets.
Off the streets.
We know that, with the new administration, President Trump is really pushing towards more oil production. Has the federal government stepped in to to promote this also? Are you getting any support for the oil industry in that?
Absolutely. Even since the beginning of the year, I was actually in Washington, D.C. In January and in March, and this was the talk. And shout out to Congressman Fong, because he was working on this in conjunction with SIPA. I want to be careful with the acronyms, but the California Independent Petroleum Association and WISPA. So on the federal level, even before our local ordinance and the state bills coming in August, potentially, he unleashed the BLM lands have oil assets on them.
Sure.
And so what happened over time is the federal government they stepped back, even though they have a primacy role. That's the legal term. Even though they have primacy, they've given that over to the states. Well, the states haven't done anything with that, right? That's actually the worst thing to do. Federal government has clawed that back and unleashed the potential of BLM permitting in land. That's about 5,000 units there in permits.
Wow.
So, yes, they have, and we welcome that. They've been very helpful.
And I would hope that most people, even outside of our area, would see how beneficial it would be. When California does good, the whole country does good. You know, we definitely are a catalyst. And when we're struggling, it's going to pull some folks around us down too. So I was very excited to see you guys did that and to have a unanimous vote.
Unanimous vote, yeah.
That's
Bipartisan vote, unanimous. And the people that came out, it was so important. They were engaged. We heard from citizens, from families, from workers, all the way up to executives and everything in between, nonprofits, on how valuable what oil means to Kern County. And we won. We won.
Who's opposing it? I mean, obviously some environmental
justice groups. I think I saw the Dolores Huerta Foundation folks, and a few. Actually, this time it was very few in the chamber.
I'm amazed that the Dolores Huerta, I don't know why I would be shocked that they would oppose something, but you would think that this would be something she should get behind because it's just going to create jobs.
Yeah, it's good for everybody here, even people across demographics, across educational levels. It's good for everyone.
And it's going to help the schools.
Helps
it's
the
going to
schools.
put more money in the schools.
Especially in West Kern, because some of them are dependent on oil money for their funding in the school districts.
I sat on the Standard School Board. We talked about that a little bit last time. Standard is a prime example of, I believe there, and it might have changed a little bit now, but probably not that much. It was like over 60% of their area is covered by the oil. And Chevron, which was Standard Oil originally, who donated the land for that school district, that's who their property tax is being paid from. That's where the money for the schools are coming from. So if you want more money in your schools, you got to take care of these folks.
Yeah, it's a great relationship. I'm all 100% there. I get it. And the schools get it. At least I think the local schools get it. Schools in the west side definitely benefit from it.
Oh, yeah.
And, Bell Ridge School District was probably one of the wealthiest school districts in the entire United States because they had money coming from oil.
Mm-hmm.
That's all dramatically changed. I serve with Les Clark Jr., who is on the Taft Recreation and Parks District. His budget has taken a hit. The kids have taken a hit. Sports have taken a hit. It's just the ramifications have been devastating. Drive down North Chester, drive down Olive and Knudsen.
Yeah.
You see these vacant structures. They don't have the business. They're boarded up. It's depressed. Some of that's changed because people are shopping at new places or
Sure.
Amazon, or now there's a better car wash like Mr. It's cheap. Some of it's natural change, but a lot of it came from oil. When you impact hundreds of jobs, thousands of jobs, millions in revenue, this is the result. People are unemployed. People shut down. We have these vacant structures. It's no different than the Rust Belt back in the Midwest. You take away steel, there were terrible economic ramifications. We cannot let that happen here.
That's a great example, actually. I hadn't put that together, but having that steel comparison, because that would definitely be an effect that would happen here.
Yeah, you go to Indiana and you see these places that were once thriving, and it's a wasteland. It's a wasteland, and that's why this whole talk of just transition, quite frankly, is total BS.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's just a fact. One of the things, and I touched just briefly on it, this could help with the homeless issues because it's going to put more funding. There was also an executive order recently that addresses some of these issues. How is that going to affect Kern County? How is that going to affect, and it's not just us, it's everywhere, but we'll get ours locally. What can that do to help here?
I really welcome the new approach at the federal level because homelessness is so complex. There's many facets and there's many strategies to combat it, and each one has a role. But when we overemphasize just one role only, the rest suffer. And for many years, the approach had been housing first, housing first, housing first, housing first, which we don't have enough units for that. The new administration is looking at a different model, which is more enforcement-based, more treatment-based. Then the money's going to follow that. Cracking down on illegal encampments, making sure people get drug treatment. It's going to be more. I think it's going to be more effective because we do need housing, but a lot of the people now that I see in my district are treatment resistant. We have housing, we have beds, they don't want it. They're stubborn. They're drug camps. They're loitering. It's what do you call it? Trash everywhere, debris. Just look at the Olive and Knudsen car wash, which we just remediated after 8 months of going through legalese and property owners, insurance policies, and what have you. That's the end result. And it's incredibly complex to go on the back end and abate that.
One of the things that came up the other day on that issue and talking to one of the local businesses here, we're seeing folks being bussed in from other areas. And he actually went out and had a conversation. He's actually right there. He's in your district, Wattenbargers. And
we've been working with him.
Yeah, and those guys, great folks, great family, been around here forever. They're getting dropped off from L.A. They're getting dropped off from up north. They're being given $50 and a bus ride to Bakersfield because we supposedly have better services, is what they're being told. And if you come across this much, and how do we address that?
I have come across it, and according to the local numbers from the Housing Collaborative, they're saying that they say it doesn't happen, that the majority is local homeless. I would take the middle ground or the 3/4 ground, and I would say that we do have a lot of local, but we also have that imported. We also have people coming in because I've been on rounds with the sheriff's office, with code enforcement, and I've walked up to the folks just to get a gist of where they're from. And some are from out of town.
Yeah.
And I've asked them, even some of the local folks, hey, the people here, are they coming in from other areas? And they answer in the affirmative. They are coming in from other areas. And some of the people I talked to were from other areas. Yeah. And I got reports to my office at the, the outlets, that they did see people dropped off in vans. So I think it does happen. I don't know how widespread it is, but it's happening.
Well, that's what he was noticing over there. And he went out and talked to him and asked him, hey, because you're seeing a new crop, almost in a way, not to use derogatory terms, but in a way, that's what it is. You're seeing a new group of folks show up. So he's like, this is different than the group that was here 3 weeks ago. So he went and asked him, where are you from? Oh, yeah, absolutely. So they really would see that. So when I drive around town, and any town, it doesn't matter where you're at in the state, because I'm up and down the state all the time, how do we allow folks to still sit in the highway, in the medians? You can't pull up to a stoplight without having 2 or 3 folks on every street corner. We know that's illegal. But with this new executive order, is there going to be a way we could get these folks picked up and get them some help, or at least get them off the street corners? I think that might be a little motivation.
Yes, and I agree with that approach. I'm very enforcement focused, and I've seen it work. I represent East Bakersfield, Oildale, and all the way to here where we're at.
Yeah.
And people say, well, that's just not going to work. They're going to come back. Well, sometimes they do come back, but over time, with constant pressure, it's clean. And Hillcrest Shopping Center off of Oswell and Niles looked like a war zone.
Yes.
You go drive there today, right now, it's very clean, no encampments. Horace Mann's happy, the shoppers are happy, I'm happy. So enforcement does work. And back to the administration, I welcome this new approach and now local governments and state governments are going to have to listen, because now federal money's at stake. And if we don't do it in this way, it could hurt us financially. We won't get the revenue from the federal government. So they're gonna force our hand, and I welcome that.
Yeah.
Please force our hand. Let us be stronger. Let us take down these encampments, because I believe it's effective. And I have a Caltrans story.
Yeah, exactly. That's, and one of the things when I think back to a young lady I know who ran away many years ago, and she left. She went from here and then down to L.A. to Hollywood. And when we tracked her down and brought her back home, we got to talking to her about, well, how did you survive? And she said, oh, it was easy. They made it easy. And it's because they could go get, 3 meals a day. They were walking around asking for change. They were making $12, $13 an hour asking for change. They had places where they could go do their laundry and places where they could sleep every night. So what they did was, by making it so easy, what you've done is you've promoted it. And I think that's what we end up doing with the homeless, when you're standing on that street corner and we're all handing them money.
That is a very big enabling problem. And I understand the human compassion. I understand the human element. I understand the Christian element. But we're not helping them when they're on the median and you're giving them $5 bills. That's why they're there, because people are giving them money.
Yeah.
But it's not solving anything. It's feeding a drug problem. They're out on the streets. It's actually uncompassionate. These people can get real help, real services, real shelter, and get on a pathway out of homelessness. And I don't even think homelessness is the main issue. I think it's drugs, it's drug addiction, and mental illness, and they're incidentally homeless because of the primary addictions. Yeah, I think if we have them use the real services to help them, they're better off than giving them that $10 or $5 on the median. It's a public safety issue. It's a traffic issue. They're out there sweltering 100 degrees, and they take that money. They might buy food, they might buy water, but what else are they buying? Right. I got to be honest, right?
Well, and that's a fact. You're not really helping them in the long run. You're enabling the situation. I had a family member who struggled with addiction, and he ended up going and working with Salvation Army. And that's how I often tell these guys, I'm not going to give you money. I might give you a little food, but no, you need to go down to the Salvation Army. You need to go down to the homeless shelter. It helped him tremendously. And as a matter of fact, I just met a new guy the other day up at Clovis who's starting a business just for addiction. And it's interesting, get them into these programs. That's how we're going to help them.
Yes.
And one of the things you talk about enforcement, they are breaking laws. You had a conversation with Caltrans because they're breaking that law. So kind of fill us in on that a little bit.
Sure. And then before I do, back to the programs, and I want to stress this: anyone that needs help, anyone that wants program or services or fuel or a shelter or a program or food, call my office. We'll get you situated. We've got placement. There's great shelters, tiny homes, Cap K, city, low barrier, privates. If you really want the help, I'll send out a team. I will unleash whatever county resources necessary and get you placed, because that does help. We do have the help. I don't want people to think they have to go beg. Back to Caltrans. On 178 California Avenue, these on-ramps and off-ramps, even at Rosedale Highway, they're a mess.
Yep.
They're a mess. And, Caltrans does help with sweeps. I've reported it. I've been emailing the district director out of Fresno. They do help. They do sweep it. But the problem is these carts are a mess. These stolen shopping carts are a total mess. And if you just push them and you don't confiscate and throw away the trash and throw away the carts, you're really not doing anything. And so back and forth, they finally invoked, well, we can't do it because it's a Fourth Amendment issue and they have a right and we have to store the property and we have to catalog it. Well, I thought, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no Fourth Amendment right to stolen property. And why are we have the stumbling block? And we've got maybe we have to do their personal. I'm not trying to take their personal belongings,
Right.
but there's no way that cart is theirs and all the trash. Why can't we just chuck it? If we could just chuck the carts, chuck the trash, we would have a huge, huge improvement. I'm not saying we're going to solve it, but we would really move the needle. I mean, can you believe that we're invoking the Fourth Amendment for stolen property? What a stumbling block, and how self-defeating.
Imagine this. You defend yourself or a loved one, and instead of being seen as the good guy, you're arrested, charged, and forced to fight for your freedom. You know you did nothing wrong, but now you're looking at thousands in legal fees. We've seen it happen. Good people losing everything just to prove they acted lawfully. That's why you need firearms legal protection. For just 33 cents a day, FLP gives you unlimited legal defense for criminal and civil cases. No caps, no hidden fees, no payback, just real protection with experienced self-defense attorneys who have your back. Plus, you'll get 24/7 attorney access, red flag protection, and more. Go to firearmslegal.com, pick your plan, and use promo code ECA for exclusive pricing, no setup fee, and a lifetime rate lock. Because when the worst day of your life happens, you shouldn't face it alone.
And when you look at that, that is stolen, absolutely stolen property. We talked a little bit earlier, and one of the things that I used to own a grocery store. Like I said, I get really excited and really hot when we talk about this because it pissed me off more times than you could ever imagine. As a store owner, you have to buy those shopping carts. So I would go through about 12,000. Well, I would lose almost 100 carts a year. So between $12,500 to $15,000 a year, I would lose just to shop. It is when you're in a small business and you're losing that, and if you're a big business, you're losing more. Some of those carts, you get a Costco cart, that's a couple $100 easily, $250, $300. You see those carts out there, that's just like somebody stole something straight from you. You got to run those numbers out. And I've had that whole compassion conversation with, that's their only mode of operation to get around. Well, that's not their mode of transportation. That was mine. And he stole that from me. How would you like if they went and stole that something from your house that cost you $10,000 a year? You might get pretty well upset. And quite often I would actually go take those carts back personally. It happened all the time. And I did have some law enforcement at times that say, oh, you can't do that. Well, no, you're wrong. I will take it back, and you should be arresting this gentleman for, and it was, and yeah, I was considered an ass at times, but that's all right. I would dump their carts out. I really didn't care.
Good for you. Good for us. Good for your store. Good for the customers. You're paying the price.
Yeah.
The customers are paying high prices. You got to pay for that. And then the public, we're paying the price with the eyesores, the health hazard, the trash. I mean, it's a mess. What a mess.
Well, and that could be used for the enforcement. You broke the law. Now let's get you some help.
And that's why I welcome this new national direction of enforcement, cracking down on loitering, cracking down on stolen property, and tying federal dollars to get these people into treatment, as well as housing. But it's just not going to be what good is housing going to be if the guy is totally off his rockers doing drugs? Do you think it's really going to work?
No, it's not going to. And we have plenty of beds open in the prison for the ones that are actually stealing stuff.
We do. And I'm very optimistic on Prop 36. Our Cynthia Zimmer's doing a great job prosecuting. And some of these people that were stealing merchandise and wreaking havoc in Rite Aid, they're in the slammer now. And it's going to continue. And once they're locked up, they're going to be forced to get treatment. And some of the headache will be removed from the streets. And I'm very encouraged by the new numbers. We're leading the state in Prop 36 arrests and convictions.
Good, because I wish people would look around. You look around right now, you see Rite Aid closing buildings. I mean, all over the place. They're closing all their stores. And there might have been some other issues there, but I will tell you, the shoplifting was a major problem. You look what happened in San Francisco. Those stores are pulling out because they can't stay open. How do there's got to be a way to do that. And people, he just stole this or he just stole that. Well, 17 of them stole that today or in the last hour. So
they just walk out nonchalantly.
Yeah, nonstop. So
that I think that's getting better now. So I'm hopeful. But yeah, I'm going to these stores in South Carolina and they look immaculate. There's products. They're not unlocked. They're not locked. It's like the good old days. And I come to my store on Mount Vernon and it's locked up, no products on the shelf. It looks like I'm shopping in Havana, Cuba.
Yes.
I mean, in 2025, I cannot get my boy an ice cream, and I can't pick up aftershave. There's nothing in there. I think they're only surviving because of prescriptions.
Yeah, actually, yes, that's a big factor.
I mean, can you believe this? In 2025, my neighborhood store looks like you're shopping in Soviet Union.
Oh, it's crazy.
Locked up, and it was not locked up. There's nothing on the shelves.
Or New York in a couple of years. That's what those stores in New York are going to look like if Mandami gets elected. But with his government stores. So with that, it's going to be tied to federal funding. Are they dictating how you could spend that money?
I haven't seen the details yet. So I just saw some top notes from our lobbyist in Washington, from our firm Townsend. But as more details come out, it'll cascade down to Kern County Behavioral Health, to code enforcement, to the county. We're still dissecting a lot of the big, beautiful bill, Trump's directives administration's directives on homelessness. So it will affect how we operate, but a lot of that's still being analyzed, especially on HR 1.
Yeah, and a lot of that, I know it takes a while. One of the things I have noticed at this administration, it's happening quickly.
Moving quickly on many fronts.
So hopefully this is the same way.
I think so. I've never seen the administration move so quickly on so many fronts, so forcefully. And I welcome the new direction, and we look forward to abiding by it and trying to move the needle.
I think in the compassion aspect is a big factor. I think realistically, I think a lot of that stuff needs to come from faith organizations or other nonprofits. There's got to be a way to tie that together.
Yeah, and they should be eligible to get into that funding because for a long time they've been shut out. The mission of Kern County, it's faith-based. Carlos Baldovinos, he does an incredible job. We need more of that because government can't do it alone. The Housing Authority of Kern can't do it alone. Let's tap everybody we can to tackle the problem. And so I look forward to at the county level by engaging in the new direction.
So I see we're solving some oil issues. We're working on solving some of the homeless issues. What other big factors are coming up through the board that are going to affect the county?
Well, this last week, there were some state cuts and some federal cuts for our public health department. It was big news. I don't know if you saw it. Last Tuesday, we had to scale back some public health programming. Nothing. I mean, you'd have thought we were pulling someone's lung machine.
I saw the SCIU was very excited.
Very excited. All we did, just to set the record straight, is there's no longer going to be a mobile clinic. The Shafter Clinic's shutting down. You can still get services at our flagship store at Mount Vernon. Mm-hmm. We were spending a lot of money, and I don't think there was a big return on an investment when you do the math. I think it was $4,000 a visit, only 33 visits last year. And we had to make some adjustments, and just like you would in your household. State cuts, federal cuts. We've got to cut somewhere. We're going to be okay. We provide good services. We have a $38 million public health budget, over 200 employees. People took the mic as if we were going to shut down MRIs and shut down hospitals. It's not the case.
All right.
We're still going to provide services. Maybe you don't get your contraception anymore delivered in Shafter. You have to come to Mount Vernon to get your free stuff, free testing. We're gonna make it. And I had one legislator come through, Assemblywoman Jasmeet Baines, lambast our board, yell. You can watch it on TV. Don't take my word for it. Watch it. Chastise us for cutting down these programs that Sacramento cut, that they cut.
Right.
And she's blaming us. And so I stood up to that, and I called that out. And we're gonna get through it. Public health is doing a great job. We're gonna be fine.
We pay an awful lot in taxes. They don't need to be paying any more necessarily. We would really prefer that the money is spent properly and efficiently. So I don't understand. I mean, other than when you see people complain like that, it's more for their own personal gain is what I generally see, is the way I would look at it. So
I think it's very politically driven.
Yeah, very, very much so. So we've got that happening. And is the SEIU planning any walkouts?
They did during budget discussions, but over this one, they took the mic, expressed their concerns, and I understand where they're coming from, but we've turned the page on that. We're still gonna move forward. We have services, but they were pretty upset about the cuts. Yes.
In that, is that where we should be having a lot of folks call their assemblymen, call their and say, hey, help, you got to support this. Who should they be calling? How can the general public help out?
Yeah, so if they're concerned about public health cuts, they can call the Board of Supervisors. They can call their state assembly member, their state senator, where the cuts occurred, and also at the national level, call your congressman, call your state senator. I mean, your U.S. senator,
sure,
because a lot of it was federal cuts as well from the CDC.
Sure,
but it was one-time monies. We use them. Those monies have gone away, and we have to run a fiscally sound budget, protect the mission of the organization, and I just can't pull money from other sources to keep that going. We move, we adjust with the revenues.
Well, one of the things I always ask people too is I say, if you want to complain about something, come up with an idea, come up with a solution.
Well, yeah, we welcome that. Yeah, that's good advice.
I hate anybody that complains about stuff that doesn't have. What's the second half of that comment? Help me out with that. So
good. So those are some thoughtful observations and questions. I think we're a little slow on the AI front. Our city colleagues down the street at the Bakersfield City Council, in their State of the City address, just talked about AI on the permitting front, the public works front, and we haven't gone through that exercise yet at all. We've done some internal exercises with processes and some technology about making planning and permitting better, and it's paid dividends. But on the AI front, we have not started on AI, and so I think where AI can benefit us, and I don't know enough about it, but I think there's room at the county to utilize AI to make things run smoother, efficiently, maybe less costly. But we've not yet incorporated AI at the county.
One of my thoughts on AI is that I keep hearing this, and I don't know a lot about it, but
in terms of departments,
you got to have a lot of power to service the AI. You got to. You keep hearing about these data centers or power centers that they want to build up, and whether it be Pennsylvania or Texas, we have a lot of vacant land here where we could actually have these big power centers, whether it be out near California City or something like that, where it's not going to affect the environment, because you brought up earlier about our air quality. They don't have an air quality issue out there in the desert.
No, East Kern, the East Kern Air Pollution Control District is very clean.
You get a lot of wind out there that cleans that up.
Blue, and I worked out there. It's clean. We could house that here as one of our clusters.
How would we go about doing that to help out with that's some serious job opportunities?
Yeah. So one of the things that the county has in terms of economic development even before and now after Jim Damien, who, by the way, Jim Damien did an excellent job, and I know he's probably thriving in the private sector once again. Hi, Jim. If you're listening to hi, Jim. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So EDC, they're tasked with bringing in new business and new development, and also there's a entity called B3K that the county is one of the primary investors, and so they're looking at new industry. Aerospace technology, they're probably working and more conversant on AI than I am. But I welcome all that. Come to Kern County. We've got the land. We're business friendly. If you want to bring tech here, I will do everything in my power to facilitate easy permitting and work with planning and natural resources to bring you here. We want you here. I welcome that.
I heard a comment the other day from our president that he will not allow any more windmills. Oh. He hates windmills. I'm actually in agreement with him. I'm not a big fan of windmills. I think they don't go back to the return on investment. I don't think we get enough return on investment for the damage that we're doing. And where do you recycle those things at? I don't know enough about that.
They are big.
Yeah, and I hear we're looking at putting some offshore in Northern California. That has been put on hold.
Oh,
One of my customers up there actually is on the board that's looking at that, and they're a mile offshore. But now those have been put on hold for probably close to 4 years now, is what they're predicting. That it's going to wait till
to do wind in the ocean is very complicated and very costly.
Well, and it's bad for the environment. It's bad for the whales. It's bad. If we're truly seeing this happen, I want to learn more about it. It depends on who you talk to.
Yeah.
So with that, is there a chance that Kern would ever look at trying to promote nuclear?
I don't think nuclear has a chance in California anymore. I welcome nuclear. I welcome a diverse portfolio. I welcome wind. We have wind. We have geothermal. We have solar. We have oil. It's part of our renewal. We're the leader in renewables, Kern County in the state, if not the nation. But nuclear, Diablo's still there in the Central Coast. The state wanted to decommission it.
Right.
The state, again, got the memo that we can't afford to decommission it, so they're trying to hold on because it's a very important part of our portfolio. It's pretty cheap. It's very safe.
It's the cleanest energy.
Yeah, I welcome it, but I don't think we'll ever have another facility sited in the state.
Really?
Again, no. And then the one off of Santa Onofre is no longer down south. But we've got one. I think we should hold on to it as long as we can, make it work, and it could really be part of our power mix. Clean, very clean.
That's another item I would think we could, if there was a way to do it out there in the desert, and it would benefit Edwards Air Force Base. It would benefit.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah,
I just don't
know how we
think
get there.
I just don't to site a new nuclear facility in California would almost be an impossibility.
That's too bad because that's even
Unless we had dramatic change in administration.
realistically, if you wanted to help the environment, you would go more nuclear. That's the
very clean.
beauty of that.
That's very clean.
You look at one of the leading advocates for nuclear now is the gentleman who started Greenpeace. He is a huge advocate for nuclear.
Interesting story. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you look him up. He just said, he goes, it's crazy that we're not doing this. You know, it's 3 Mile Island did more. The damn movie did more damage than anything else. You know, it's perception, right?
Yeah, it is perception. Well, I saw a PG&E site, and they do a really good job, and it's very safe and very secure. And talk about ex-Navy SEALs, they're running all the security there, I'm sure, because I saw people with ARs, and getting into that facility was.
It's not going to happen. You might get drones, but there's ways around that too. But at the same time, you put that. They're going to go after it. If somebody wanted to bomb something, they're going to try and bomb Edwards anyways.
I think it's an important part of our energy mix. We need it all.
Yeah,
we need it all.
Well, like I said, I would much rather have that. So okay, and then any big things coming up we should be looking for?
Big things. We're going to pass we had budget hearings last week, a number of them, but the big budget will be adopted in August, and I think we're in a good spot. It's balanced. We're going to continue vital services. We're going to make adjustments where needed, like public health, and I'm optimistic in not only for our local Kern County budget, but what's going to happen in Sacramento to support our local oil ordinance. And I'm looking out closing 2025 on a high note. And never take anything for granted. Every day is a battle. People, there's others that don't like how we do business, and we have to defend against that.
Sure.
And I see it in real time in the chambers. I see it in lawsuits. I see it in closed session. So I want to thank you for being part of that, for being vigilant, for educating our public, for being on the line, because we can't take our way of life for granted. When we fall asleep at the wheel, we lose market share and we lose our philosophy.
Yeah, your momentum goes away. That's exactly it. People lose focus. So
back to my district and locally, what has been effective, like we did this tiny homes. Are you familiar with tiny homes in Oildale? Yeah, it's 50 units of independent housing, non-congregate setting.
that's the Heart on Hope.
Heart on Hope Street. They're doing a great job. It's Hope the Mission. Those are our contractors that we contract with out of Los Angeles. I have seen positive results. It's a clean facility. They've got good stats. They've seen over 200 people. They have a 37%. This is just emergency and transitional place, but they have a 37% success rate at moving people into housing, to they get immediate support there.
Right.
They get services from the county. They get, job assistance help. But that's a good percentage of people that have moved on and are successful, are stabilizing. And that's just one program that I have in my district, along with the Golden State Cap K. But that back end is also a part of it. It just can't be only enforcement only. But a lot of it, I think, starts not just at the back end. We can do more on the front end.
Sure.
And not just government, but fundamentally it starts at the family. It starts early. It starts in childhood. If we don't get these kids in kindergarten and first grade situated and on a pathway, and if the parents, it just can't be government. Government can barely do a pothole,
Right.
much less change someone's core personality and behavior and what have you. It starts at home. It starts with the family unit. It starts with, I'm a Christian. It starts with a God-centered approach. Mm-hmm. And even then it's tough. We all have trials and tribulations,
Sure.
but it really starts early. And the more, if we just have a cohesive family unit, parents that are involved, helping their children along the way, being involved in academics, in health, in school, in sports, they have a much better chance at life success. It starts early. If we lose them at that early level and they're not getting the academic supports they need, or the social supports they need, or the family involvement, or the church involvement, we start to lose them in 4th grade, 5th grade. They don't have a chance by the time they're in 8th grade or high school.
No.
They're so behind. They're going to graduate, with no skills. Then what? They get into drugs. It's a multiplying effect that happens over decades. I don't know. I think we got to start on the front end, the mid, and the back end collectively as a society. And government's one part of it. The church is one part of it. The family is one part of it. Self-responsibility is one part of it.
Yeah.
Providers are one part of it. But it's complex. And
I'm a big believer in mentors, and I think
mentorship is huge.
You got to have more mentors out there and people willing to step in and help that out.
Kids that have mentors are so much more successful.
Yeah, and I think that falls on our generation, older generation, being willing to step in there and do it early. You talk about the third, when your prison system sets their future census by the 3rd grade reading level of what's happening now, they know if X amount of percentage don't read by the time they're in 3rd grade, that's what our percentage is going to be in the prison system. Talking to a local high school principal, and you're talking about getting them when they're young. Anybody that has a teenager, especially a teenage boy starting high school, you will see that if they fail that first semester as a male, they're going to drop out of high school. The rate is extremely high. So that's where I think the mentor programs could really step in also and help out with the high school districts.
Mentorship is a huge contributor to success. Sports also.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Have better graduation rates. Mentorship is even better.
Yeah, I look back at when I was young and not very bright. Not that I'm much brighter now at times, but
You're very bright.
I had there was two mentors that helped out a bunch. And one was a teacher, and another one was just happened to, it was interesting. I was 15, he was 18. He was really not that much older than me, but I looked up to him tremendously, and he helped out a ton. So
we can all go back and remember that counselor, or in my case, my swim coach or my biology teacher.
Exactly.
People that took an interest in me. I can name him. My 4th grade teacher, Gail Lee, who just invested in me. There's so many people that touched my life, and we need more of that.
And they probably don't even remember. I talked to mine, Cliff Shaw. He had no idea until I was on the board later, and he was still teaching at that school.
But he remembered.
Yeah, he remembered me being in his class, because it was funny when he came up to me at a board meeting. He called me Mr. Sears. I'm like, you can't call me that. You got to call me Chuck, because you're Mr. Shaw. Well, I know we're getting close to the end. With that, how can the community really help out? What do you want when you're sitting there in a board meeting? What do you want the community to know, and because that has an effect all around the nation. That's not just here.
Yeah.
What do you want the community? How do you want them to get involved?
Depends on the issue that's presenting. So, like, if it's neighborhood issues and street issues and things that they're observing with crime or encampments or graffiti or code, what I want from them, because in the county it's a report-driven system. Mm-hmm. Call my office. Use the app. We have an app that you can report things in.
Yep.
Graffiti, dumping, code, fire, anything. The more people I have reporting, the more we can take care of it and get on it on the front end, address it quickly before it lingers, before it gets out of control and grows exponentially. So at the street level, call us, report it, email, all that coming in. That makes my day.
Okay.
On Facebook, phone call, text, whatever. That's one kind of a simple neighborhood thing.
Sure.
But on the policy issue, on the big issues that affect Kern County, God, to the extent that you can come, show up, testify, email, tell us your position, support something that you believe in, help us negate, because the other side, because there are sides to things, the other side is very good at mobilizing, getting people to speak.
They make a lot of noise.
Scripting it, rolling out the chairs, rolling out the oxygen tanks, whatever it is.
Yes.
They're very good. And, sometimes those that scream the loudest impact policy or
Sure.
get their way. So, and I know that we there's a lot of folks that are working, that are busy, that have families, and not everyone can come down to the chambers and weigh in. Yeah. But you can weigh in through letters, through email, through phone calls, or come to our board meeting and speak. When someone takes the mic at the dais, is very powerful. The board listens. I've seen things change based on public comment.
Okay.
I've seen budgets change based on public comment. I've seen millions of dollars in change over just one person taking the mic. And when one person says, well, just one, I don't matter. It matters. Right. It really matters. And especially if you have a group of people. Back to the oil EIR, when they turned out, people invest, people in workers, people with the pens, the budget.
Sure.
I think that really made a difference. I think it made a difference. It sent a signal that here in Bakersfield, Truxton Avenue, Kern County, we showed up, we pushed back as a community, we passed a local ordinance, and who would have thought that local ordinance now is being talked about in Sacramento so well that even the radicals
right.
are thinking about passing a bill to protect what we did. I would have never thought that in 100 years.
Well, and keep us informed on this, the bill in August. If there's something we could do to help with that, we absolutely want to do it.
Thank you.
So, and I know you got to get to another event, so I really appreciate you coming by.
2 more and I'm done.
2 more. And I got to tell you, that is one of the things you are outstanding at. You are involved, and I would challenge all other supervisors to do the same thing. Get out there and talk to your folks.
Really makes a difference. It helps me learn. I hear things. This week, there's so much going on this week. I had local students, back to mentorships.
Yeah.
The Jim Burke Foundation, they're investing in youth. High schools across the county and the city came together, did something simple as a lemonade stand in Old Stockdale, raised $4,000 for Honor Flight. I was talking to students from Frontier. They want to go to and you were there, Garrison, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
They want to work in ag. I talked to a girl from Golden Valley. She was I'm excited now because now I have promise in the future that the baton will be passed successfully.
Sure.
We're going to be in good hands. This girl, she had it all mapped out. I want to go to UPenn, University of Pennsylvania. I want to graduate. I want to go to Wharton School of Business. I want to study finance. I want to work in private equity. I thought, oh my Lord, you're 17. And I go, we're in good shape. I was disappointed. A couple weeks ago, I was in Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut. And I was a little down. I was showing my son around, trying to pump him up. I saw a group of Chinese students, backpacks, 8th grade, good for them, taking notes. They're on a mission to get into the Ivy League. I'm talking tours of 30, 40. And I thought, I have to be honest with you, be candid with you. I was a little taken back. I thought, wow, these kids they're working on getting the Ivy League on summer break. And I've got kids in the Valley Plaza doing Papa Wheelies. just not everyone. I don't want to judge.
But that's a fact.
They're just running roughshod in the mall and God knows what, almost causing accidents. I go, we as a country, we have got to turn it around.
Yeah.
Because we're competing against these are our future competitors. But back to this lemonade stand, I have hope. We're going to be fine because that next generation is there and they will carry the baton. And that's why it's so important to go out. And I really had a good week.
I want to get you to a couple of FFA.
Would love to support them.
You know, they do their ceremonies every year.
I want to support
every
them.
high school.
You call me, I'll be there. I'll contribute. I want to help.
The North High one is always amazing. Frontier always does an amazing job. But to get into and watch their annual meeting, your annual conferences that they do is impressive, like beyond belief. And the kids run it all. They run every bit of it. So
Frontier has a very good one.
Frontier does a very good job. And I know North just lost one of their key, Natalie Schusler, who was Natalie Ryan. It went up to Bakersfield College, and that was a big thing. But North has done an amazing job for some time now.
You let me know.
I will. It'll be next year. Well, very good. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.
And let's stay on top of that oil. That is a big fact.
Okay. Thank you for having me, and God bless you guys, and take care.